So we were at Parashat Bishalach, and this is the point where the Israelites are fleeing out of Egypt. They are leaving, they've taken what they could, and they are heading out to the Promised Land. And they're heading this way because of the 10 plagues and because Pharaoh has been convinced to let them go. But as the story goes, Pharaoh changes his mind and begins to pursue them, realizing that his workforce is leaving him. And so the Israelites are heading towards the Sea of Reeds. The Egyptian army and all their chariots are in pursuit. And this is the story that the rabbis, so many of us, love to tell at Parashat Bishalach. We love to tell how Moses then lifts up his arms and he is robbed. No, wait, that's Mel Brooks. He lifts up his arms and looks over the water, and nothing happens. The waters do not part. And a man by the name of Nachshon realizes that the waters will not part unless someone bravely steps forth into the waters. This is a story of great bravery where he steps in and nothing happens, and the water comes to his knees and nothing happens, and he keeps going in until the water is almost about to cover his mouth, and finally the waters part, and the Israelites are able to pass through, and the waters come crashing down onto the Egyptians who are pursuing them, and the Israelites are free. This is the story of the great act of bravery. But I would argue that there's another great act of bravery that takes place in our story as well. And that is after the parting of the Sea of Reeds, the Israelites break out in a song, not once, but twice. The Shirat Hayam, the song of Moses, the song of the sea, where they sing. And then after they sing, Miriam the prophet, as the Torah teaches us, Aaron's sister, doesn't say Moses' sister, Aaron's sister picked up her hand drum, her timbrel, and all the women went out after her, and they danced with their own hand drums, and Miriam chanted for them, Shiru ladonai kika oga asus farokvo ramavayam. Sing unto the eternal, for God has triumphed gloriously. Horse and driver God has hurled into the sea. These same words were also uttered by Moses. And according to certain rabbinic commentators, and this is one of the rare times I disagree with them, but bear with me for a moment, that there was a custom back then that men and women did not sing together, that their voices could not be shared, so instead Miriam led them quietly. I would argue both of these cases were an act of great rebellion and acknowledgement, a celebration of what had just transpired. Their hearts are joyous because they are finally free. Their enemies are vanquished. And most likely in the text, it was their song together, but was maybe broken up by a later editor. But as the Midrash also teaches, the angels, the very angels of heaven, were waiting to sing. So Moses led the Israelites, they waited. And then Miriam started to lead them in song. But Miriam recognized how much the angels wanted to sing too, and she gave them permission to join her as well. This music wasn't just a song of celebration. It wasn't just a song of we are free, but it was also a song of rebellion. The Torah is teaching us a very powerful lesson that sometimes we lose sight of because we are surrounded by so many melodies, either through our devices or on social media, or even sometimes we come into the sanctuary and we think, I've heard this song before. But the truth is, song elevates our hearts. Music elevates our souls. Melodies bring us comfort in times of great sorrow. And songs can be a symbol of what is possible. Many of you remember the 60s where music truly did transform the world. And in our own reform movements, there was a singer by the name of Debbie Friedman, of blessed memory. And we sing many of her melodies. But what people forget is the first time she sang at a biennial, Many booed her and jeered her because they were so upset to see that the melodies, the songs of our people were being changed from organ and piano to guitar, inspired by the 60s. And that guitar led to melodies that we hear tonight, melodies with a wonderful tefillah band, with guitar and oboe and drums and cello and piano. Melodies where we have 3 amazing cantors leading us in worship. These melodies connect us with our tradition. They connect us with God. They connect us with heritage. They connect us with our souls. But most importantly, they connect us with what is possible. Music is an act of rebellion. Music is standing in the face of our enemies and say, "You will not beat me down." Music is an act of rebellion by stating, "The world is not as it ought to be, and I will sing until I am inspired to do something about it." Music is an act of rebellion. I will lift up my soul until I become the person I know I ought to be. Music is an act of rebellion by acknowledging that we have the power to lift our voices to change the world. Shabbat Shirah, the Shabbat of Song. We are celebrating with 2 amazing students who are lending their voices to us as well. And we join with them because they represent all that is possible, all that we know we can do as a people. Shiru l'Adonai ki ga'o ga'a. Sing to the eternal, for God has triumphed gloriously. We continue to wait for all of the triumphs, for all the wrongs of the world to be righted, for all the suffering to end. And until that day comes, we will continue to sing in times of sorrow, in times of celebration, and at every time in between. For our voices are what elevates our souls and are truly what God hears and are truly what we can hear as well. Shabbat Shalom.